If people are dieting now more than ever before, then why are nearly 1 in 3 American adults overweight? Dr. Gundry, who's helped thousands lose weight and feel younger and healthier than ever, says most people are not getting enough fat-burning MCTs from their food. MCTs are a special kind of compound that instead of turning into fat when you consume it, turns into ketones, which is a chemical that breaks down the excess fat in your body. So, by getting more MCTs in your diet, you essentially flip a switch that puts your body in caloric bypass mode, which can flush out excess fat and calories. And he's created an easy way for you to activate caloric bypass right at home. It's called MCT Wellness. This powerful blend of fat-flushing MCT powders and antioxidant-rich polyphenols is designed to help you unlock your body's fat-burning, energy-producing potential. What's even better is that it's a delicious drink. I love how incredible it tastes. All you do is add a scoop to water, enjoy, and watch as you start feeling slimmer and more energized. So, if you want to experience a quick, easy, and effective way to melt pounds fast, go to GundryMD.com/energy and order right now to get up to 53% off your regular price order with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Again, that's GUNDRYMD.com/energy.
Uncluttered and Unfiltered is supported by Hearts for Minds. Can you imagine waiting 11 years to get screened for cancer? On average, people with mental health issues experience an 11-year delay between symptoms and seeking help, and close to 2/3 of mental illnesses go untreated. Hearts for Minds promotes healthy lives by promoting mental health education, facilitating early identification, and connecting people to treatment. Are you ready to learn more? Go to heartsforminds.org for more information. Did you know that Uncluttered and Unfiltered is a passion project created to reach and connect a community of women over 50? Growing production and promotion costs can be a challenge, and your support means the world. When you join our Patreon bonus club, you'll have access to a ton of otherwise unavailable video content, plus commercial-free episodes and a private chat community where Christine and I will answer any questions about the upcoming series, Organizing Eden, which is really for all of us. Plus, we have a few surprises as well coming your way. For just $5 a month, you'll be helping us grow this incredible sisterhood. And if that's not possible, hey, we get it. Truly, the most incredible way you can support us is just by telling one friend about Uncluttered and Unfiltered. And thank you. We love that you're here.
Welcome to Uncluttered and Unfiltered, the podcast urging you to let it go and don't look back. With nationally acclaimed professional organizer Christine Stone and self-proclaimed hot damn mess radio and TV personality Eden Kendall.
Welcome, everybody, to Uncluttered and Unfiltered with Eden and Christine, the podcast for women over 50. And today we are with Julie Ryan, photographer extraordinaire. And let me give you a little backstory. Over 2 years ago, we decided we were going to have a podcast. And Christine said, we need to take photos. And there's only one person in the world that I trust with my photos. It's Julie Ryan. So we came to you and Carrie Wilson, who has been on our podcast a couple of times now. Yeah. She made us look beautiful. You captured us looking beautiful. And I will tell you that it is a toss-up for me. Would I rather have somebody say, you look so much better in photos, or would I rather have them say you look much better in person? I would rather it be that I look like myself in my photos. And that's what you've managed for both of us. So we appreciate that so much. Julie, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Very happy to be here.
People listening might be saying, a podcast with a photographer, what on earth am I going to learn? When you are over 50, sometimes it can be stressful when you know that there's a photo session in your future.
Not just a photo session. I think when I go to dinner and someone's, everyone says, come on, everyone take a picture. And I'm like, I want to be in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
there's
I didn't
a
want to
spot
be,
that
everyone fights for the middle. Because how many times do you have to put your hand on your hip when you're at the end? So I really like it just for everyday photos. This is why I'm excited about this. I want to know everything.
So we're going to talk to Julie about making sure that you're posing at your best angle, making sure you're in your best light, making sure you're preparing yourself in the best possible way for photos. And also, while we're here, we're going to play around a little bit too for those who are able to see us on video, which isn't everybody. So anything we say on this podcast, we want to make sure that everyone who's just listening can get just as much benefit. But we'll also make sure there's some video attached that you can access in our bonus club on Patreon. So Julie, first of all, your studio is lovely. You were in a different location the last time we saw you. So tell everybody like a little bit about your business, who you mostly cater to.
We work predominantly with women, so I hear all the reasons why they don't want to be photographed. They're not comfortable in front of a camera. So that's one of my very favorite things. I love this topic because it really applies to everyone, but particularly for the more mature woman, these things come into play even more. So I love this topic, and it's one of my favorite things to do is to make people feel comfortable in front of the camera, and
Which I think you do amazingly
bring
well.
out them and their personalities and their beauty, because everyone's different, and so posing for your body type is important, but bringing out your authentic self is just as much, if not more important, showing personality, and that's what we try and do.
Agree. So why don't we go down your list, Christine?
So I had a long list, being over 50, 61 myself. And so the first thing is, are there any angles that can highlight your better features when you're over 50?
Absolutely. So for our curvier ladies, so if we're thinking about perspective, from the camera's perspective, whatever is closer to the camera is going to appear larger. Whatever's further away from the camera is going to appear smaller, right?
Oh.
So from that perspective, so if you are, for our really curvy ladies, if you want to show off those curves, you're going to bump your hip towards the camera. If you want to minimize, you're going to pull it back away from the camera and kick your hip the other way. And I can show you
Oh, wow.
how that's done.
Oh.
Yes, but that's a quick, easy trick, one of my favorites to show off or
What about the
minimize.
person who typically likes to hide in the back for a photo? That's obviously going to make you look the smallest and the tiniest, but you also don't ever have any photos of yourself looking happy and having a good time with friends.
Yep, and when I'm photographing a group, I always call out that person that is trying to hide in the back and
Ah.
say, come forward, because we want to see you and celebrate you as well. So it's important to be seen in photos, and so I always call those people out a little bit.
It takes a
Bring
little
them
bit.
forward, yeah.
There's a little psychology that goes along with what you do.
Yep, absolutely. But you don't want any like small floating heads in the background.
Right.
If you can keep everybody on the same plane or pretty close together, you're going to get the most natural looking shot.
Okay. And what about, how do we minimize the appearance of wrinkles or other age-related
There it
things
is.
going
There it
on?
is. Let's go right for it.
This is a great question.
Because a 25-year-old coming in here and getting a photo taken versus a 58-year-old, it has to be different.
Absolutely. Yes. So what I would recommend, if you are shooting with just your phone, iPhone or whatever phone you have, if you can find a big window that has really soft light coming into it, that's a great way. You're going to stand in front facing that window, and that's going to give you really even, beautiful light. And what that does is it's not the wrinkle that you're seeing, it's the shadow that's created by the wrinkle if you have really harsh light. So if you can use really soft, beautiful light that is really big in front of you, it's going to fill in all of those shadows, and those wrinkles will just disappear.
Oh, that alone was worth this trip.
Exactly.
So that brings us to lighting, because if they don't come to you, are there certain lighting techniques besides natural light that can help someone take a photograph?
Especially in this day and age where Amazon has so
Yes.
many choices. We're not asking you to recommend one specific thing, but what are we looking for?
Yeah, any sort of continuous soft light if you're shooting for Instagram or whatever and you're shooting at your home, just having that light like our light is here in front of us,
Right.
directly
Great
in
light.
front, that's filtered and just really nice and soft, will create that beauty light that you see in fashion. And that's a really gorgeous
Beauty light.
Beauty light.
Yeah, soft, even light.
So as opposed to the ring light that people have.
The ring light can work really well. You just want to make sure it's placed properly so that it's slightly above your face. So
Okay.
the
Oh.
bottom of, so that way you create a beautiful shadow under your jaw as well, and it defines the jawline and highlights cheekbones while getting rid of wrinkles.
So it has
what
to
you're
be
seeing.
positioned above.
I tend to go slightly above. So if you think of the sunlight
Mhm.
being above you, you want to create that mimic a cloud in front of the sun. So the sun is above you, you're going to go slightly above, and that way you can really highlight that jawline.
Okay, so when I was younger, everybody wanted to have the reason we all selfie so much too is that angle from above. When you hold your
Yes.
phone out and up, or my husband went through a phase where he knew, I'm sorry, and he would raise the phone up because he knows I like it shot down. My daughter, on the other hand, part of the new generation, they're taking these pictures from the bottom up, which is crazy to me, but whatever. And but you
Really?
can
Be
tell.
flattering
Oh
for certain
yes.
ages.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Oh
From
my
the
God.
ground, literally from the ground. It's crazy.
What that does is make you look really tall.
Okay, that's something
So
good.
it can be really beneficial. Just
Wow.
know the effect that you're trying to go for, and then you can place your camera and your light accordingly
Okay.
to make sure you're getting the effect that you want.
Okay.
But yeah, taking the picture from slightly above tends to be a very flattering. We don't want to go crazy and have it super high up because that's going to distort the image and make you look shorter or more compact.
Okay.
And a lot of women want to look taller.
Okay.
So let's get on the subject of clothing. So I say, oh, Julie, I want to come in and get my pictures taken. When you're over 50, everyone has something they're going to complain about, whether it's their arms, their legs, their neck. How do you recommend people when they're coming clothing wise to dress if they want to feel their best?
Absolutely. So fitted clothing, I always recommend to people. Loose, flowy looks wonderful in real life because you're seeing someone move. It's not a still photograph. So if someone comes in with their favorite dress that is very flowy, I will clip it in the back so that no one sees, but it doesn't hide their shape. So we want it to be fitted. Undergarments, I will say, play a lovely role.
Yes.
For a lot of women, it can be, think about that foundation and then putting
So
on
shapewear.
Shapewear is fabulous, can just take care of some things right off the bat that we don't even have to think about. And then fitted clothing, oftentimes solid colors tend to photograph a little bit better than a really busy print because we want whoever we're photographing, our client, to be the star and not necessarily what they're wearing. But sometimes I'll have a client bring in their favorite dress and it's pattern and they love it and they feel great in it and it works beautifully. So, I would say
So
fitted
let's talk
clothing.
about that. Okay, let's say I've come in, I'm wearing something that's fitted, and I am standing in front of your camera. And this advice I'm hoping will be for somebody also who's just standing in the park or in front of a landmark and wants to have their photo taken by their significant other or their friend. Do I plant my feet next to each other? Do I angle towards the camera? And again, we will have some video. Uh-oh, wait. Sorry, low battery. No. That's okay. We'll be fine. We will have some video, by the way, of this pose. But how do you pose? Do you plant your feet? Do you face the camera front on?
So I always think about angles. Most people have a sense of what angle they prefer or what side. A lot of people have a favorite side of their face. So putting that closer to the camera and then always, so instead of having your feet and standing parallel right in front of your camera, you're going to angle slightly to the side and then a little head tilt, pull your arm back.
I know you kept
Pull
telling me, pull your arm back, pull your arm back, pull your arm back.
Yeah,
But it
not
made
comfortable
it's
necessarily,
not.
I have
but it looks beautiful.
I have
Yeah.
a habit of doing that teapot thing, so I've never thought about that. So pull it back.
Yep. So if you let your arm elbow wrap around your body, or you can have it up. Another awesome trick is to pull your upper arm. If we have it like flat and squished up
Right.
against our bodies, it's going to flatten it out and
Oh, I
make it
hate
look.
that. I hate that.
It's going to make it look appear larger than it actually is, and we don't want to do that. We want you to be your normal,
So
fabulous.
what's
So
trick
what's
for
the
that?
So you're going to just pull your arm exactly what you just did.
What?
Just pulling your elbow
Oh,
away from your body
away,
a
so it's
tiny,
not-
tiny bit.
okay,
Unless
just-
you're going to pull it behind and wrap, you're going to pull it slightly out to create that beautiful shape.
If there is one thing that we've learned from starting this podcast is that when it comes to menopause, no two women are exactly the same.
And yet none of us are alone.
Hormone Harmony recognizes all of those symptoms we've talked about so much on this podcast, like feeling down and uncomfortable in your own body.
Hot flashes, sleepless nights.
You had a sleepless night last night.
Yes, I did.
Now it's easier to manage menopause with Hormone Harmony, science-backed herbal extracts called adaptogens. They help the body adapt to stressors like chaotic hormonal changes.
Women cannot stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds.
That
Wow.
really says something. The biggest benefit I'm hearing about is, quote, feeling like myself again. That is what women are mentioning over and over again in their reviews. For a limited time, you can get 15% off on your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code UUPodcast at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code UUPodcast for 15% off today. Uncluttered and Unfiltered is supported by Hearts for Minds. Can you imagine waiting 11 years to get screened for cancer? On average, people with mental health issues experience an 11-year delay between symptoms and seeking help. And close to 2/3 of mental illnesses go untreated. Hearts for Minds promotes healthy lives by promoting mental health education, facilitating early identification, and connecting people to treatment. Are you ready to learn more? Go to heartsforminds.org for more information.
And to slim it.
That is one of my pet peeves, too. A lot of times I'll look like I have these truck driver arms. No offense if you're a truck driver, but I have these big old arms, and people will meet me. They're like, you look a lot smaller in person. Yeah. And I think they thought I was going to be this really big
And
upper body
in my
person.
business, what I hear the most from women is arms are their number one complaint.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
We all have heard that. I
Absolutely.
know it's the case for myself. And 3/4 sleeves can be a fabulous way to take care of that.
Body
problem
makeup.
there. Just
Wait, body makeup?
And they have all the different
body
body
makeup?
body makeup is you put it on and it covers imperfections.
Wait,
on
doesn't
your
Julie do
skin.
that in post?
No, but I'm saying if you decide, if I were to go sleeveless, which I wouldn't for a photo shoot, but if I did, I always put a little body
Okay.
makeup on
I
just to
didn't know
cover
that.
like up imperfections on your skin.
Why
Only
not?
for photos,
Sure.
or I don't would put it on every day. But there are little tips and tricks that, like now we're on the subject of hair and makeup. Just to make someone feel better, what is your thought on getting their hair and makeup done if they're going to come get a professional shoot?
you all know Carrie Wilson. She is phenomenal. So we try and take that homework off of someone's plate. I think it can be very beneficial to work with a professional that knows how to do makeup for camera. So if you're able to hire a professional artist, one such as Carrie Wilson, that would be a great way to get you looking and feeling your absolute best before you step in front of the camera.
And it's so easy to go get a blowout these days.
Oh,
too. So
yeah.
You
So
don't have to
simple, yeah.
wake up in the morning and be stressed. Am I going to have a good hair day or a bad
Right.
hair day?
Exactly.
So doing some of those things, but I would recommend trying to work. I'm no expert, but trying to work with someone you've worked with once before at least. So
Yeah, don't do it the first time
Right.
and not because that could be a disaster.
it sure could.
Yeah, work with someone that is a referral from a friend
Right.
that you know or you've worked with in the past. It's important to have that trust factor.
And what are some things you shouldn't do like 24 hours, 48 hours, or even maybe 3 to 4 days before a photo shoot?
I would say spray tans are no, especially
Really?
unless you do it often and if you've never had a spray tan done and you go do it the day before your shoot, never had it done before. I've had people come in rather orange.
Oh.
And it can be, and then I'm correcting skin tone in
Oh,
post-production.
yeah.
So unless it's something that you've done many times, you're very comfortable, the clinician that you're working with will come out with proper skin tone to match you, then totally fine. But I don't recommend it for newbies.
Okay, and what about alcohol?
Like during or
No, you know how it's very dehydrating for your skin, and you
Yep.
look the next day like,
A little, yeah.
a little tired,
less
a little less
rested.
glowy.
Yeah.
maybe be well rested, I would think.
Yeah.
You want to be well rested. You want to have a little something in your stomach, eat a little light meal prior to your shoot. And then as far as the alcohol goes, tend to keep it fairly minimal. We do serve Prosecco or champagne here in the studio on occasion for women that want a sip, but
Does it relax them for the
a
photo?
little bit, but we don't want
Sleepy eyes.
So we don't want that. It's a fine line of, I don't want people to look tired in their photos.
Sure.
And then part of, I think, the experience of having a photo shoot done is the nerves and the anticipation, and I don't want to take that away necessarily, especially if we're doing a boudoir shoot or something like that. I want women to feel all the feels and feel really
The
empowered when they
boudoir
leave.
shoot. We haven't even really thought much about that, but that is a whole topic right there, isn't it?
It is. That might be for another day.
I don't know at 62 if I'm doing a boudoir shoot, but hey,
might
you
be
never know. You
surprised.
never ever know.
What is the oldest client you've ever done a boudoir shoot for?
I believe she was 74.
Nice. Did she lay on that bed we see over here?
Oh my goodness.
We actually shot that one at her. No, it was at my previous studio. I was
Okay.
going to say her home, but it was at my previous studio.
see.
So.
God, I want to meet her. I love her.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
She was doing it for herself. Just-
what are some things you will and you will not do as far as after the fact? Obviously, we've all seen those AI photos that people just load any selfie, and the next thing they look like a movie star, and you can tell immediately. I'm sorry, I can look at those pictures and know that they are artificially created. But what will you and will you not do? Because part of the professional photo experience is knowing that some of these wrinkles are going to be diminished and later.
Proper lighting and posing, like we already talked about, goes a really long way. So my goal is always to get things right in camera as much as possible. I do tell people there is a little touch of magic in the post-processing, but I don't want to change someone. I'm not going to change their bone structure. I'm not going to make them look like someone that they're not, because I think everyone is worth celebrating just the way they are. I don't want anyone to do an edit and over edit. I'm not a fan of whatsoever. But I'm not going to do that to someone and make them feel less than. Oh, I needed to be changed.
Right.
Or I wasn't good enough at the beginning. Now I'm worthy or whatever.
But what if someone wants, say they
Yeah.
get their photos and they say, oh, can you get rid of those crow's feet? Like something like
I'll
that.
soften.
You can soften.
Yeah, but what I tell people, I get this question a fair bit, can you take out every single line and wrinkle? And what I tell people is, even children, when they smile, they have wrinkles. Children. So
Yeah.
if we take those all away, you're going to lose the humanity of the shot, and you're going to look like a plastic doll, and it's going to lose some soul, and I don't want to do that.
I
So
love
I want
that.
to keep the soul, and sometimes it's our flaws that make us the most beautiful, so why not celebrate those things that some people might perceive as a flaw? It really makes you unique, and it's part of who you are, so let's celebrate it and capture it.
I love that. So the last question I have is, how do you make people feel comfortable? Say they've never done a photo shoot and they're so nervous
Yes.
because they don't know how to stand or smile, or they just feel totally uncomfortable in this setting. How do you relax them and make them feel comfortable?
That's a great question, because many of our clients do come in very nervous, some of them shaking nervous. And one of the things is talking them through what's going to happen before they even get here, talking through their wardrobe, what they're going to wear. It sets the stage of what they can expect, so it makes them feel more comfortable. And then once they're sitting with Carrie for makeup and helping them relaxed, they look in the mirror and they're like, oh my goodness, I look incredible. That's going to make them more comfortable
Right.
in front of the camera. So by the time they get to me in front of the camera, they're already feeling and looking amazing, and that's going to naturally shine through. And then if they are still nervous, one of my favorite things to do is pose people for their body type. And when I'm giving them instructions and telling them what to do, they stop being nervous because they're just so busy following instructions.
I remember being a nervous wreck when we came to you because I was in the growing out a pixie phase of my life. So I had this mop of curly hair, and the minute I walked in, it was like a sisterly kind of almost like getting ready for somebody's being in a wedding party or something. Everybody's complimenting and, oh, this looks great and this looks great. And there's just this feeling of confidence boosting that was happening. It was a woman to woman moment. And I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't ever have a male photographer by any means. There are probably very talented male photographers out there, but there was really something to being among girlfriends that gave me some confidence, because it was at a time in my life that I wasn't feeling great on camera. And I love those photos. I love those
I know
photos.
we really do love our photos. So yeah, that's I love
We
all
like
these.
to laugh and
Yes,
have
Yes,
fun.
you
have
had us
fun.
laughing, and one of
That-
them, I
Yep.
know I was laughing. I remember
Yep.
the moment.
And I think part of one important takeaway is I like to say expression always wins. So even if a pose is technically a little off, if there's a beautiful smile, laughter, expression, and that person is just shining, that wins out over what is technically perfect as
Right.
far as the pose. Expression always wins. So we call it our little girl cave in here, and we like to have fun and
Yes.
laugh and give high fives and hugs and have a lot of fun along the way.
I love it. I encourage women to do a photo shoot at least once in their life. At least once.
Maybe even
It's-
every few years.
They can do it as much as they want, but if you've never experienced it, I feel it really does make you feel so good about yourself because your photographer highlights what looks good about you. And when having your hair and makeup done, you just get one day to really feel dolled up. And then you could go back to your regular life after, but it's something I feel everyone should experience just once.
Every photo shoot I had been a part of prior to ours that day was with a group of guys, because the radio shows that I've been a part of, it's usually me and guys. So you have that, you get made fun of if you say you have a side you prefer. You get, if you say, hey, can you do one with my hair in front of my face? Can you do that? You always get a little bit of ribbing, good natured as it may be. It's still a very self-conscious feeling. Or at the TV station, we would do these days where everybody comes through and they basically tell you what to do. Hold this sign, put this sign down, stand this way. And it's for their purposes, which is understandable. It's on their
Right.
time, but never have I been in a situation where the photographer wants you to feel
Right.
the best you can. And it's about you.
So I think it's really also picking a photographer that you feel comfortable with.
So how do you do that, Julie?
Absolutely.
If
Yeah, how
somebody's
do you
listening
do
in
that?
Alaska right now or in Canada, like we know we have listeners all over the world.
How do
How do
you?
you do that?
I would say set up a phone consult. So if you're on Google and you're looking for local photographers and you find someone's portfolio that you really are drawn to and can see yourself in, reach out to them and set up a phone or in-person consults. Make sure you jive, because if you're not comfortable with them, they're not going to necessarily be able to get the best out of you, or it might be more challenging. So choose someone that you really jive with and enjoy their energy, and someone that's really positive and body positive and all these things. And I think
love that.
that's a good.
And for inspiration, where can people go to see your work specifically?
They can find our website. It's julieryanphotography.com. And then on social media, it's the same at Julie Ryan Photography. And yeah, so on Instagram, Facebook, and our website.
And we'll, of course, link to that in our show notes. So we're going to wrap up with you, Julie, and we're going to do some things behind the scenes here, get some video bonus content that we could put on our bonus club member Patreon page for those who have that. But what we do want to say for those that are listening right now, whether you're on that bonus club thing or not, the biggest thing you can do to support this podcast is tell one friend. It's an honor to us if you would do that. Just telling one friend that you have, your sister, your cousin, your coworker that's over 50, even if you think you might insult them, maybe they're 49, just tell. Of course, you can find us and you can tell them that our new retooled website is up, unclutteredandunfiltered.com.
Yay.
And until then, fear of the camera, you can let it go.
Yeah.
And don't look back.
Uncluttered and Unfiltered is supported by Hearts for Minds. Can you imagine waiting 11 years to get screened for cancer? On average, people with mental health issues experience an 11-year delay between symptoms and seeking help, and close to 2/3 of mental illnesses go untreated. Hearts for Minds promotes healthy lives by promoting mental health education, facilitating early identification, and connecting people to treatment. Are you ready to learn more? Go to heartsforminds.org for more information. Did you know that Uncluttered and Unfiltered is a passion project created to reach and connect a community of women over 50? Growing production and promotion costs can be a challenge, and your support means the world. When you join our Patreon bonus club, you'll have access to a ton of otherwise unavailable video content, plus commercial-free episodes and a private chat community where Christine and I will answer any questions about the upcoming series, Organizing Eden, which is really for all of us. Plus, we have a few surprises as well coming your way. For just $5 a month, you'll be helping us grow this incredible sisterhood. And if that's not possible, hey, we get it. Truly, the most incredible way you can support us is just by telling one friend about Uncluttered and Unfiltered. And thank you. We love that you're here.